Wow, you're still here. Do you know how many Christians take the time to study evangelism? Pretty much you, and that's just about it. Welcome to lesson number 4 of Terrified 2, Wdjd. What do those initials stand for? I'm not telling yet. A number of years ago, I was watching Ray Comfort witness to people on the streets of California without Carl Malden, and he was magnificent, and I was listening to these encounters and going, oh, that's so good. Oh, I want to remember that. Ooh, he did that there. And then I went out on the streets myself and tried to do it. It was a train wreck. So I called up Ray Comfort, and I begged him to settle down for enough minutes to ask him to please figure out an anachronism, an initial thing, so I could remember what it was that he was doing. Thanks to Ray Comfort, he came up with Wdjd. And if you can remember these 4 initials, I promise you, you will be in control of every witness encounter. Please note, I did not say everybody that you witness to will get saved. I simply said that you'll be in control because you're going to know the framework of the conversation. You're going to know where you're at, where you're going. And it's that type of knowledge that for me is like, okay, I don't care what rabbit trail you try to yank me down. You can go in any swamp you want to. I know the road, and I can get back to it if I just remember what the road is. Wdjd, what does it stand for? Drum roll, please. It stands for, what did Jesus do? Wdjd. What did Jesus do? If you can remember the W, the D, the J, and the D, I promise you, you'll be in control of every witness encounter. Let's take a look at the Wdjd of witnessing, law to the proud, grace to the humble. Here we go. The W, would. That's your W. Would you consider yourself to be a good person? So you remember your W and the Wdjd, and then the question, would you consider yourself to be a good person, which is a linchpin question. What is the issue? Sinful, humble, broken, contrite people, God saves. Proud, arrogant, proclaimers of their own goodness, God does not save. By asking a person, would you consider yourself to be a good person, will tell you if they have a pride-filled heart or a humble heart. Simple as that. And I'm telling you, this question it gets you there. Because remember, the message of the gospel, Jesus died for sinners. This is to help them understand they're not good people. Wdjd, this would be your D. You can ask question number 2. Do you think you've kept the 10 commandments? Do you think that you have met God's standard? And if they say, yeah, no, it doesn't make any difference, now is the time to open them up and start walking through them. Do you notice that these are all questions, the Wdjd? These are all questions because especially in our 21st century postmodern culture, if you point, so you're not a good person. You think you're good, but I'm telling you you're a bad person, and you've broken this law, and you've broken that law. You know what you're going to get? Annoyed people, offended people, and you're probably not going to have many people to talk to. Instead, ask questions. Do you think you've kept the 10 commandments? And then start opening them up. When you start watching the witness encounters from the streets all over the globe, you're going to hear Wdjd. You're going to hear me using it a lot. And you're going to hear me opening up the commandments as much as possible by simply asking questions. All right. Let's start with the first one. Has God always been first in your life? Have all of your affections gone toward God? Have you ever made a graven image in your mind by thinking, I think God is sort of like this? Have you kept the Sabbath? Have you honored your parents? Have you ever been a murderer at heart? Asking questions, you are opening up the law. Do you think that you have kept the 10 commandments? And then walk through as many of them as you can so that you can get to the J, our third question in Wdjd. The Bible tells us that someday you're going to die and your soul will be with the Lord. At that time, He is going to judge you for every thought, every word, every deed done in darkness. When that day comes, will you be innocent or guilty before God? And you're saying, where's the J in that? This is about justice. Would you consider yourself to be a good person? Do you think you've kept the 10 commandments? You walk your way through the commandments and then think justice. Do you think that God will find you innocent or guilty? Now, sometimes you can get into a tussle over this because they know where this is going. They have a very bad feeling. And some people might go innocent, and they're going to give you all kinds of excuses. Well, I've done good things. And you can explain to them, criminals claim that they do good things before the judge, but it's irrelevant. And the judge, if he is just, he must judge you and give you justice. That is why you do well to ask them questions to get a profession of guilt. So when the person finally says, okay, I would be guilty, then you move to question 4, or D, destiny. If you are guilty before God, should he send you to heaven or hell? This is when somebody might start squirming. Heaven, I think I should go to heaven. And just be patient and loving with them. Well, a criminal who stands before a judge and who is guilty, a just judge doesn't say, I'd like to reward you and have you live in a penthouse in New York City for the rest of your life. A good judge will give you justice, and your destiny would be jail on earth. In eternity, it's called hell. Now, do you see where you've come with this Wdjd business? You've made your way through the commandments. You've helped them to understand that they're a sinner and that their destiny is hell. Now, there's one more question that you might want to ask them before you move forward, and that question is, does this concern you? Does this trouble you that you'd be going to hell? And I think that this is an important question to ask at the end of your Wdjd business, because some people might just go, I don't care. I don't care about your God. I don't care about your hell. Why give that person the good news? Don't. Instead, go back around and just spend a little more time talking about hell, trying to persuade them that they should be concerned. Please note this. Some people will say, well, I don't care, but they'll sometimes have a physical tell. I've seen this with people. So does it concern you that you'd be going to hell? No, man, it doesn't concern me. And they're like, their cheek is twitching. I've seen one kid, I remember this from the Minnesota State Fair. I said, does this concern you that you're going to go to hell? And he's like, oh, no, man. He's trying to be a tough kid, because this is how the teenagers stand. Okay, they'd put their hands in down here because that's where their pockets would be with their droopy drawers. And you could see that he was getting a rash, and it was like climbing up his head, like some sort of ivy, and it's like I knew that the kid was concerned about it. So what do you do when somebody now expresses, I'm concerned, I don't want to go to hell? We'll tell you what to say next in Lesson 5, but this was Lesson 4 of Terrified 2.